So what we are going to start in Google Cloud Platform Associate Architect from the scratch. Okay. So the
Yeah.
first thing what we are going to see is we are going to see about the introduction to cloud. In this one, we are going to see. So I think already you are well aware of what do you mean by cloud computing, right? So we will see in the first class, we will see the basics. Okay. So we are going to discuss about the basics. So what that basic contains. So regarding to the basics of cloud, deployments of cloud, services of cloud, services of cloud. So these are basics of cloud which we are going to discuss. And after that, we are going to discuss basics of networking. So what do you mean by a network? What do you mean by OSI model? Okay. So what do you understand by DNS and DHCP? Okay. So we are going to discuss these things in the first class. Okay. And
Yeah.
after that, in the second class, we are going to see on the Google Cloud Platform regarding to the IAM. Okay. So before we go to IAM, we need to understand how exactly Google Cloud hierarchy works. So when it comes to Google Cloud hierarchy, how it will work is it will work on organization level. Okay. And after that, it will have something called as folders. After that, we have project. Okay. So why we need to create this one? So what is the requirement of this one? We are going to understand as part of Google Cloud hierarchy. Okay.
Yeah.
Is it clear? So after that, so what we are going to see is we are going to see IAM. So in IAM, we are going to see so how to create a user, how to create a group, and how you can create a role and how to create a custom role depends upon your requirement. If you want to customize your roles, you can create that one role and custom role. And after that, very important as part of IAM is service account. So where we use the service account. So if you want to give any permissions to any application, so service account will come in the place of your resources, whatever you are creating. Something like, suppose if you have a VM, compute engine, if this VM want to communicate with cloud storage, so how it will communicate? It will communicate using the service account. Okay. This will use service account in order to communicate. So I think you know. I think I'm not sure whether you know or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Service account generates the
whenever
key.
you whenever you create any GKE cluster or whenever you create any compute engine or composer or if you create any SQL instance, the basic requirement is you need to have any service account.
Service account.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so here there are so many things which we going to discuss. So we will be discussing in depth regarding to the IAM. And in the last section, so we are going to see, I will give you different types of scenarios and you need to work on that one. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is about the first week. Okay. So now on the second week, what we are going to discuss is we are going to see about the network. So we are going to discuss so the first week and second week, we are going to discuss entirely about the networking. Okay. So what exactly networking you will have? So in week two, virtual private cloud, we will see what do you mean by a virtual private cloud? What do you mean by a subnet? What do you mean by routes, VPC peering, firewall rules, cloud NAT, and cloud DNS? Okay. So this is one part of network. The other part of network, it will go to network hybrid connectivity. Okay. So here we will see network firewall. See, so whatever the firewall we are discussing here, here, and here, it is totally different. Okay. So here we are only going to discuss about the layer 4 firewall. Okay. So here we are going to discuss about layer 7 firewall. Okay. And we will going to see how to create a VPN, how to configure a interconnect, private service connect, serverless VPC, private service access. So private service access is used majorly for your SQL instances in order to create your databases. Okay, because we require private endpoint for that. Okay, majorly. Okay, so we will see how to create these two. So these second week and third week is totally comprised of your networking. Okay,
Yeah.
is it clear? So after that, we are going to discuss about the compute engine. Okay. So we are going to discuss what we are going to discuss here. We will be going and discussing about the what do you compute instance, instance template, instance group. What do you mean by image? What do you mean by a VM manager and types of load balancer? So I think you are well aware of these concepts, right?
Yeah.
Compute engine is nothing but it is a VM. So these two will be configured as part of your auto scaling. Suppose if you want to do any auto scaling concept, you will use what do you mean by
Instance.
instance template and instance group.
Yeah.
And what do you mean by a image? Image is nothing but it is the
Artifacts.
custom OS. Okay.
Yes.
Suppose if you have any infra. Okay. Suppose if your requirement is whenever I create a new VM, if I have a requirement that it should have my Apache, MySQL, and some monitoring tools like Qualys and something. Okay. So I don't need to install these things every time. Whenever I create a VM, manually should not do this one. So what I will do, I will create a VM and I will install this one and I will create the image out of this one. So we will call that one as custom image or golden image. Okay. So that we are going to discuss. Okay. So now after that, what do you mean by a VM manager? In VM manager, we are going and discuss about patching. So how you need to do the patching of your VMs. So here there are two things. On-demand patching you can do and automatic patching you can do. Okay. So you can do it for all your VMs. Okay. So you can have for Linux and you can have for Windows. So we are going to discuss on these two parts. Okay. So this is regarding to the week 4 compute engine. Okay. Any questions till now?
No. I understood, sir. All good.
Okay. So in the next one, we are going to discuss about the Kubernetes engine, which is frequently used by so many customers across cloud. Okay. If that is you are using AWS, Azure or anything, so they will compulsory use this service. Okay. So about the Kubernetes engine. So what we will see, what is Kubernetes and what is the architecture of Kubernetes we are going to discuss, and how to create the cluster by using CLI and GUI. So cluster creation by using CLI and GUI. So these both we will see. Okay. And deployments. So what do you mean by deployment? Is nothing but here what you will get how to create the pod or any deployment. Okay. So we will see this one. Before this, we will go and see how to connect to this cluster, how to connect to the cluster. This is also we are going to see. Okay. And after that, what do you mean by ingress controller? Ingress control is nothing but suppose if you want to expose your application, which is hosted on Google Kubernetes engine, what you will do? You will create a service called as ingress. Okay. So ingress is nothing but whenever we talk about the load balancer, I think you have heard about application load balancer, right? You have heard about application load balancer. It is the
Correct.
same in Kubernetes, we call that one as ingress controller. Okay, it is
Yeah.
a load balancer only, but it is layer 7 load balancer. That's all. Okay, and
Yeah.
we are going to discuss how to take the backup of GKE cluster and how to restore that backup in order to create another cluster. Okay,
Yeah.
any questions till now?
No, no, all good, sir. So these backups and restoration we will do via file storage or object storage, right? Or
Yeah, that
first
we
and
can
this.
do. Yeah, that depends upon your requirement. Okay, so how you want, on that basis we can see. Okay, so
Yes, sir.
in the last week, what we are going to see is we are going to see about the security. So security, so I have not written in the order, but first we are going to discuss about the security command center. It is nothing but it is a vulnerability scanning tool on your environment. Okay.
Correct.
So what it will do is it will scan all your resources which are there in your project. Okay. It will scan and it will give you the report, provide report. Okay. So now after that, we are going to discuss about the key management. So what do you mean by key management? I think you have heard about KMS, key management system. So what we will do here, we will store any signatures, digital, we will call it a digital signatures. So we will be discussing what do you mean by a digital signature, certificates. So why we use certificates? Because whenever you create any
Domain.
application, if you want to secure that application regarding to any hacking, so what we will do, we will create one certificate and we will apply to our load balancer. So how we will apply to the load balancer? I will show you with OpenSSL. Okay, I will show you with OpenSSL software how to deploy the certificate onto your load balancer as well, and how to apply onto your key management. Okay.
Yeah.
And after that, we will see what do you mean by web security scanner, what do you mean by identity aware proxy, and BPC. I think you are well aware of IAP,
Yeah.
identity aware proxy, IAP.
Yeah.
So IAP is nothing but it will act like a proxy between your local machine to your virtual machine, right? Suppose if your VM is having private IP address, your local machine can access this private IP address using this IAP. There will be some range, okay, which we need to add that range in our firewall. So that I will show you, okay. So that is one part. So this is about Google Cloud Platform, and there are some miscellaneous also, which we will see GCR, Google Container Registry. We will see, which is a registry. Suppose if you want to build your own image, what we can do, we can create our own image and we can pull that, we can push that image to our GCR. Okay. So that's what we are going to discuss in our Google Cloud Platform in the associate architect level. Okay. Clear?
Yes, yes. Got it, sir.
And with this, we are going to discuss about the Cloud SQL as well. So we will cover one part of database. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Terraform as well.